Hey team, Matt here. Got an absolute doozy of a question today. Over the weekend, I was watching some forums that I manage, and I was looking at one question. It had 28 replies in the first hour. It's actually a pillar of a question. I get it all the time, so now's a great time to talk about it. The question, in a nutshell, is, what's my business actually worth? I want to sell my business. What's it worth? Show me the money. Great question. Couple of answers. I'm going to give you a few today. Let's get into it. So when people buy a business, what they're actually, we're going to use green. I think green's a great color. What people are buying is, again, this will be pretty average drawing, but you can bear with me, I'm sure. They're buying a machine, right? So imagine this is the door to your machine. And the way to think about a business, and there's a bit of smoke coming at the top there. See, that's our business, right? So this is the machine. It's a machine for making money. What people buy, they buy money-making machines. Or they start up money-making machines. The whole purpose of buying a business is to buy a money-making machine. And this is the way that it really helps to look at what the value of your business actually is. Because ultimately what people are buying is a multiplier of how much money they can make, okay? So we've got to be really clear about what we're selling. We're selling a machine that can make money. Now, the value of the business is normally made up of the profits and the chattels. Profit, often expressed by the term EBIT, which stands for earnings before interest and tax, and sometimes there's a P in there, which is principal payments. So payments to the person who owns the business, whether it be wages or a dividend or anything else. So it's normally EBIT, earnings before interest and tax, with a P attached to the end of it. So that includes the money, or doesn't actually specifically doesn't include the money that's paid to the boss for the input that the boss has into running the business. And the chattels. These are normally termed as fixed assets. And then on top of that, you've got stock at value. So on the day that the business is actually sold, what's the value of the food in the fridge and all that sort of stuff. So those are normally the three things that make up the value of the machine. So let's pull these apart, right? So profits, ooh, black, I like this. Profits, we're in the black. So we've got profits, or EBIT. And sometimes that's a P. Okay, so we've got profits. What are people willing to pay? Well, normally they pay a multiplier of your profits. And normally it's between 2 times all the way up to 10 or 12 times, depending on a bunch of different factors. So I know what's happening right now. In your head, you're going, cool, how can I get something down here and not get that? Well, the answers are pretty simple. I shall take you through them. So the most important things that people who are buying businesses, who actually know what they're doing and buy businesses really well, what they look for, if you're going to, what's that? Oh, that's a grey, nice shade of grey. So you get 2 sort of levels of money, if you will. You've got okay money and you've got crazy bank. What's the difference? Okay, probably the biggest difference, okay, is the consistency of the profits. So consistency high, consistency low of the profits, right? Low consistency, things are up and down and all around. You're not going to get that much money for it. It just makes sense. People buying, that's more of a risk, that's less of a risk. So that's the first one. Then you've got the asset value. So obviously, the more your assets are worth, the more you're going to get. Normally, these are done at book value. But it does mean that you should keep on top of your maintenance schedules and all that sort of stuff. So obviously, businesses that are worth more, their assets have been well taken care of and looked after and that sort of thing. The other thing that people look at, and you as a business owner should be really cognizant of this is one of the most important factors, is owner's time. That's a clock, by the way. It's my best clock ever. Owner's time. The businesses that sell for a high value, generally speaking, have a low demand on the owner's time. Is that right? No. So, got that the wrong way around. You know what I'm saying. Owner's time, if the business requires a lot of the owner's time to actually run it, so is absolutely dependent on a key player in the business being the owner, then that's going to be a whole lot tougher to sell than one that uses very little in the way of owner's time. Obviously, when people buy a business, they want to buy a lifestyle. Normally, they want to buy a lifestyle with it, all that sort of thing. If it takes 50, 70, 100 hours a week to run your business, well, that's worth less than a business that will only take 10 or 12 hours. That's fully enough what we work our clients towards as far as time in the business. The other one, which is really intangible, and this is potential, which is a really subjective way of looking at business, but this is where the real money's made. Okay, so people buy the promise of making money. They buy the promise of making money because they think that whoever did the job in the past, I can at least do that same job, if not better. So where is the potential for the business to go? And they might sit there and go, you know what, it's got a good brand name. I could do some take-home meals. I could do some deliveries and some corporate work or whatever. People will pay a bit for that. That's relatively straightforward because it's based on book value and casual observation when you do your due diligence about how well things have been taken care of. That there is normally a conversation done during due diligence to find out how much time I have to spend in the business. And the potential of the business is when they go for a walk around the block or they go and see parts of the market that aren't being taken care of and that sort of thing. And they go, well, I think that I could do a whole bunch of different things with this potential, this business. So those are just 4 factors to think about from your business's point of view. How consistent is your turnover and your profits? What's the assets like in your business? What are they? Are they new? Are they well taken care of? Do they well and truly pay for themselves? Does every single one of them have a purpose that makes you money? The owner's time. How much time does the owner have to spend in the business? And how reliant is the business on that owner? And ultimately, what's the potential? If I was going to buy your business, how could I transform it from a medium money-making machine to an amazing money-making machine? Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. So if you want to get the really big, the 10, 12s, and I've seen within the last 3 months, 2 go at around 10 to, I think one was 10.5 times EBIT. So that was massive money. But really what they were buying is they were buying the potential of the business. In this particular case, in one of the 2 cases, they were going to franchise the model. So they saw massive potential. The business itself had loads of really good systems and a really strong brand, and they were going to take that and turn that into a franchise model and roll that out. So they could see the potential, and they bought that because all the work had been done as far as the product mix and that sort of thing. So when you look at your business, okay, look at these factors. You've got the profits. How much money do you make? Look at your chattels. How well are they taken care of? Are they the right chattels? And stock at value. That's normally done at the very last moment, just before the changeover of the new owners. And that's just a figure that covers the stock that you have so you can open up for business tomorrow. So there you go. That's the value of a business. Now, there's obviously a lot more to it. The places that you can go, by the way, to find out more would be a business broker. Business brokers will give you a lot of information around your business and that sort of thing, normally for nothing. They're looking to get a listing, so they're normally pretty good about giving you tons of information and that type of thing. So maybe go to the business brokers. That would be a good place. An accountant will have some benchmarks as to what your multiplier needs to look like. So often accountants can go and get industry information, so from other accountants and from databases they have around what businesses are actually selling for. And I work with a lot of accountants about finding out what the right figures are for these things. The other thing you can do is give me a bell. So flick me an email at matt@thecafedoctor.com, jump on Facey and ask me a question through there, or just head to the site, thecafedoctor.com. Happy to ask any questions you want. Also happy to work through a checklist of things to think about when you're buying a cafe. So if you're buying one, if it's your first one, or maybe it's your 100th, there's a bunch of things to think about. And I've got a bit of a checklist that I can take you through with that. So flick me an email. Talk to you soon. Thanks for your time. Have a lovely day.